And then verse 10, it says, it was the will of the Lord to crush him. Think about that word, crush. It was the will of the Lord to crush him. That's graphic language. If you talk about someone being crushed, Jesus was crushed throughout his life emotionally, but then also he went and he was crushed physically. That they had these whip that had bone that was on the ends of it. And every time they would whip him, it would grab into his skin and would yank it out. Until you would actually see vital organs. That's how bad Jesus was beaten. He was crushed. And yet he stayed silent. And it was the will of God to do it. It was God making atonement for you and I. He was bearing the wrath of God that you and I deserved. You think about that picture there. That's what Jesus was doing for us. It was the will of the Lord to put him to grief, and his soul makes an offering for guilt. But that's not the end of it. That's not where it ends. It goes on to say that he shall see his offspring, you and I. And the Lord will prosper his hand. And out of the anguish of his soul, he will be satisfied. He will make many accounted righteous, and he shall bear their iniquities. So there you go, is the definition of atonement. If you look at the word at and one, it's at harmony or in harmony. That's where we get the terminology at one with nature, things like that. So it's at one with God. That's atonement. Romans 6:23 says the wages of sin is death. So the actual definition of atonement is a reparation. It's a satisfaction of a debt that you owe. And so that debt is owed for a specific people, specific purpose for your sins, so that you can have reconciliation with God. The wages of our sin is death, either our death or the death on our behalf. There had to be a satisfaction of death in order for there to be reconciliation. And you look at these words that in Romans 5, 6 through 11. And you just look at those key words there. While we were still weak, Christ died. So we were helpless, he was strong. And then it goes on to say, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Now that's love. That's love in action right there.